Hi, welcome to the award-winning Ed Brown Show. Once again, outstanding guest. We have a repeater here. I mean, the young lady had a stroke, and now she has a radio show, and this is Kamaria T. Richmond. And the name of the show is the Stroke Diva Fabulous Show. Now, what is this stuff about Fabulous Show? How do you come up with a name like that?
Fabulous. Well, I had the stroke. And just trying to reinvent myself. And, everyone's pretty much like a diva these days, but my friend who from the Digital Sisterhood Network, you actually interviewed her with her book and what she does. She actually came up with the name of the show.
Is that
because
right?
She's like, you had a stroke, but you're still Kamaria. She's like, so you need to just put that out there. So I said, okay, well, we'll go with the Stroke Diva Fabulous Show. So that was her brainchild.
Is that right? Tell us a little bit about some of the guests that you're involved in and some of the things that you're doing on your radio show.
Well, I've had some really great guests, some of whom you've met.
Yes, I've had them here on the show.
Right. And so they've talked about things that were important to me. So if I'm online and I see something interesting or I see a person that's interesting, I just send out a little note, I'd like to have you on my radio show. And so I've had guests that have talked about metaphysics, meditation, healthcare in American.
Metaphysics?
Metaphysics and meditation.
Explain that. What is metaphysics?
Yeah, well, there is a gentleman and he travels all over the world and he does astrology and astronomy. I didn't get that out right. Astrology and astronomy.
Right.
And he actually teaches meditation classes all over the world. And so I wanted to have him on the show. Well, one, I wanted to meditate with him, which I did for a couple of weeks.
How long did meditation take place?
And
when you actually being meditated.
You can go anywhere from 5 minutes. This gentleman does like 4 hours.
4 hours?
Every day.
No kidding.
So, but I think you get the benefits.
How do you stand still for 4 hours meditating?
That's just who he is. He's been doing it for so long, and he's teaching others how to do it, and so he has like his own program.
That's like one of the things that after you have a stroke is very important is meditation.
Meditation, right. And I meditated before, but he has this deeper system, and so I found it interesting, and I've had different authors on that have talked about healthcare, and they've talked about spiritual living, and they've talked about, I've had some good ones.
Well, it
we've done
seems
some
like
politics.
it's a balanced program. You're hitting all the physical and the positive and the negative things that you're dealing with that are results from being in that state of mind.
Right, because being online, since after the stroke I'm not driving, so I'm spending a lot of time online. So people have talked about, and I've had them on the show, return to relationships. So you're on social media, how do you build your brand? And how do you stay connected with people doing that? And so a lot of marketing, a lot of publicists, and so many.
are involved in it.
So many on my show.
Yeah.
And so I've had really great guests to talk about how to return to your natural
self.
self.
I noticed that some of the individuals, quite a few, have had experience with strokes themselves. So they are a living example of recovery.
Right.
Because this is the major thing, because most of us have the wrong idea about an individual that recovers from a stroke. That they are normal. But they think, well, there's paralysis or things of that nature, but that's not true.
It's not, and most people, they don't, unless it's physical, they don't see your disability.
Right.
Because you are walking and talking and moving around.
And there's more than one type of stroke. Tell us about that.
Exactly. So with the stroke that I had a bleed on the left side of my brain. And so with that, it's caused a lot of cognitive damage, a lot of vision damage, and like you said, there are so many. But for mine, they say with a stroke, if you can get to the hospital in like 3 hours,
Oh,
then
is
you
it
have
3 hours? Because
right.
I remember 2 hours.
Yeah, if it's three, if
But
you can get there, then you pretty much have a greater chance. But for me, it was 18 hours. But I'm blessed. That's God. So I was able to move through it. But just doing different therapies, whether it was physical or cognitive, vision, occupational. I've had a lot of different therapies.
yeah, just like one of your guests, Mrs. Sampson.
Right.
Now, she gave a terrific rendition of the types of
Right.
things that. And it was a learning experience. In fact,
Yeah.
I played it over a couple times, to really get some of the facts that she
Right.
had.
And I met her online. I met her on
Okay.
LinkedIn.
Is that?
So LinkedIn has a lot of professionals, and so I've connected with people on LinkedIn. I've connected with people on Facebook and Twitter and
Oh,
Stumble
wow.
Upon and
Yeah.
all the different social sites. That's how we're all connecting with one another now
Well,
online.
well, actually, that's encouraging, and it's
Right.
really something very positive because
Right.
you always gather information from different
Right.
sources.
Right. Stuff that I
Yeah,
would know about.
right.
So I think it's interesting, and I
Yeah,
think other people will think it's
yeah,
interesting.
right, sure, right. Because
So,
having that avenue in your program gives
right.
them the outlet,
Right.
for those types of things. Just like Miss Sampson was saying, hey, look, sometimes they like. I think she used the churches as they have a
Right.
program, but they have their doctors and they have their clinics, and
Right.
they're not very receptive to individuals. Just give them the information, that really only a person that's been through it,
Right. Really. Right. And
because I think she named about 3 different types of strokes that's involved in.
yeah, and actually just meeting her through someone else online.
Yeah,
Once we left the
wasn't that
studio that
wonderful?
day,
Yeah.
well, there was a young lady, and I don't remember what she did, but maybe she was having a show or she was inviting guests to do something. And I said, well, I'd like to have everybody on my show as well. And so just being with Joyce, meeting her on LinkedIn, and after the show last week, she went right to Facebook and started the Stroke Diva Fabulous page for me.
Yeah.
And
No.
I've gotten a lot of traffic with that. I was like, I just have everything under Kamaria T. Richmond, but she's like, no, we need to make this a page. And she had some of the photos that I had. So I was like, you just
It
never
had
know who
had
you're going to meet.
illustrations too.
Just with people that I've
Yeah.
had. So like if she saw the picture, it's there. So you just never know who you're going to meet. And we were talking yesterday on the phone. And
That's sound like a terrific outlet.
yeah, because we were talking yesterday on the phone, and she wants to do some speaking through the American Heart Association.
Yeah.
And so they have this program where they have lunch and you talk. So she's trying to get us hooked up to that. So people come to lunch and we tell them our stories. And I mean, so it's been really exciting working
And
with her.
having an environment of lunch is a
Right.
good
That's the best time.
right. Because if I'll get lunch, I think I'll go
Right.
to this
That's the best
seminar,
time.
you know what I mean?
Yeah,
Plus,
and so
and
she
then
has
meeting people.
right.
Yeah.
She has a couple of great ideas, and that's just someone I met. I had her on my show. I didn't even know she listened to my show, and so you never know who
No,
you're going to
you
connect with.
never know.
Never.
And what you've done, you've mastered the way of getting that through
Right.
through the
Social
internet
media.
and things like that,
Right.
which really gives you a wide variety
Yes.
of individual. Now, and what about the young people? I think we mentioned that Mrs. Sam. I tell you, she was
Right.
saying that a youngster, 4 or 5 years old, can be affected by a stroke.
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, now there used to be a time when it was just older
Yes,
people,
right.
but the times that we live in, and I think it's the environment and the food we eat, it's something where now the medication, where now it's just starting at any age.
What,
It's
what,
just
what about your diet, the different foods? You
mm,
just mentioned, your diet.
right.
After or before you change your diet, you increase it, or either you eat more or eat less. What about that?
Well, I know I can speak personally for me. Once I was diagnosed with the sarcoidosis, I was vegan for a while, then vegetarian for a while, and then holidays, I said, okay, I'm going to eat
You
some
want
fish
a
or some
fish
turkey, and
or ribs?
never couldn't do that. And
Again, no ribs.
this was like in 1990,
Hmm.
and so after a while, so that was it, just chicken, no, not chicken, just fish, pretty much.
And seafood,
And
huh?
yeah, and then when I got on this with the sarcoidosis, they have a drug that they put you on called prednisone. And prednisone makes you gain a lot of weight. It makes you super hungry, but it keeps everything in balance.
It
And
increases
so,
your diet. I mean,
yeah,
increase your appetite.
your appetite.
Yeah.
So I started eating chicken,
Hmm.
and I hadn't had chicken in 14 years.
No kidding.
In 14
And
years.
did you
So
see the
it just,
physical difference
oh,
in
yeah.
changing your diet?
It just, the
Because
medication
you know,
really blows you up.
is that right? Because I talked about what a lot of people do is
Right.
barbecue ribs, and so you said no barbecue ribs.
I couldn't go back to beef or pork. I couldn't do that. But it's just living a balanced life. And now when I was a vegetarian, you couldn't microwave any vegetarian food. It was nuts and berries, legumes, just minimal stuff. And so now, because everything is processed, and so I'm guilty of process, and I'm
Processing.
processed food, and
For
I'm
instance, like they have what you call instead of regular sugar, they have raw sugar, and
right.
that's I think that's down in South America or something like
Yeah.
that. This raw sugar, and it looks like brown sugar, but
Right.
it's not brown
And
sugar.
it's better for you
It's better
than
for you, right?
right
Right,
than
because
the
I
white,
found
right?
that out in a local store has the
Right.
raw sugar, and people sometimes mistake it for brown sugar, and it's
Right.
different. Brown sugar is processed,
Right.
refined, and
Right.
this if you with the raw sugar, now this come from like I say, South America, a little teeny
I didn't
place,
know it was from South America.
huh?
I didn't know that.
Yeah,
But
yeah, I
it's
did
what I
some
prefer.
research on it, yeah. So then that's when I changed to everything with refined raw sugar,
Raw
rather. That's
sugar.
and that is something that really people that have a problem with
It makes it,
sweetness is that
yeah.
raw sugar, you
And
know.
so it's, whether it's sweets, which of course
Yeah, it's
I crave, or
that's what I mean.
yeah, it's
We have a tendency to crave
yeah, we want
sweet item,
sweet
right?
and
But this raw sugar,
is much
which
better
I
for you.
found out
And it
that
tastes better.
yeah, I found out you can put it in
You can
anything
put
you
in
want. You can
everything.
top it off,
You can put in
and
everything.
it. But that's another thing a lot of people don't realize. Changing their diet is very important.
Diet and
Yeah.
exercise.
Okay, tell
Diet
us
and
about the
exercise.
exercise.
And so for
Is that when you exercise? Is that the push-ups and all that, or that's the bicycle, or
Well,
give us
I
some ideas?
started, well, I used to be skinny, so I never thought I'd ever gain any weight, and so I never exercised.
You say,
I was just like, I'll never need to exercise.
and you didn't, and it didn't affect you. You could eat anything you want,
Right.
and then the stroke had a tendency to change your
Right.
appetite.
And the sarcoidosis really kicked in with the appetite. And so once I was on that, I gained a whole bunch of weight. And trying to and so I was in therapy, physical therapy. So that's where I was getting exercise from, physical therapy, and now I have little tapes and stuff that I could do. The thing is physically doing it every day,
Yeah, well,
consistently.
well, that's what I'm saying. That's all.
Being
That's always
consistent.
a problem, you
Right.
know, because it depends on your scheduling and things like that, and
Right.
how late you stay out, you know, at night. You get home, you know. And what's the best time? You know, a lot of people, most people, exercise in the morning.
Right.
Do you feel that that makes a difference?
Most people do. I'm a night owl, so I have to do everything at night.
Oh, you.
But of course, like the meditation and the exercise, for most people it works best in the morning.
Yeah.
But
Right.
not for me.
But,
I'm up late.
do they have the types exercise that are more effective than others?
Well, you know, some people run and some people,
Yeah, that's what I'm
on the
saying.
treadmill.
See, that's what
And
a lot of people,
right,
I think a lot of people, they misinterpret exercise because what
right. You don't have to kill
exercise
yourself.
that's good for you will kill me.
Right, exactly.
You know, and they
Exactly.
get with their friends and they decide, you know, hey, well, we're going to exercise, we're going to jog, and we're going to do
Right.
push-ups, and then,
And
but
just
the idea, everyone is different. And
right,
just like your body process the chemicals,
right.
whether it's sister, mother, father, or everybody's chemical
Everybody's
makeup is
different.
different. And
Right.
what'll kill you, another person does. And they
Right. It won't
judge
matter.
the person on that. Say, well, I can do 50 push-ups. And I said, you
You're
ain't
like,
doing no
okay.
50 push-ups.
Well, I can do 5.
Yeah, I can do 5. But really, don't you think that your body talks to you,
Oh,
and
definitely.
when you reach a limit that the body rejects, you know,
Right.
that it no longer is effective, you know, it
Right.
becomes a problem.
Right. And so you have to know your own body.
Yeah,
You know,
right,
you may love fish, but you can't eat it.
right.
You know, for most people, like a shrimp is like something that will send them over the edge. So a lot of people can eat a lot of
Eat.
sugar
Right,
and not
exactly.
get diabetes and not get weight. And a lot of people can just exercise maybe 5 minutes a day, every day, and still have, it still is like the sum for someone that does it, 20 minutes,
Right.
every day.
Right. And see, what happens too with that exercise is that, just like you were saying, is that 5 minutes or 20 minutes, it depends on the person's
On your body.
body. Right. And then the strenuous exercises like the push-ups or things that weight.
The weights.
Yeah,
Right.
the weight is not good for some people, and
Right.
really their body rejects it.
Right.
You know what I mean? And so what happens when your body rejects something, you stop doing it.
You stop doing
No
But
matter-
most of us keep doing it because
Yeah,
we think
but-
it's what we're supposed to do,
Yeah.
but it's not.
Yeah,
It's
but
not
that's
for
that's
everybody
the
to do
wrong.
the same
Really,
thing.
that's the wrong approach.
Right,
Is if your
right.
body rejects exercise, no matter who tells you, your trainer or whatever, that's
Right.
what you have to do.
Right.
You have to reject it too. Because there's always alternatives. That's for
Exactly.
anything.
Right.
And for your diet, for the exercise, what's
Right.
good for you,
It's
may
not
not
good for
for
someone
me.
else. It's not. So it's really connecting with your body. And
Yeah.
if I had been more connected and probably less stressed, the sarcoidosis wouldn't have been as bad. But if you're working and traveling and tired and
Yeah.
I make these really good healthy meals one week and then the next week it may just be
And then,
takeout.
and then it's your really your system too,
Yeah.
and I think regularity is something that hurts a lot of people too,
You have
because
to be consistent.
right, because
Everything
they
has to
have
be
and
consistent.
sometimes their environment and their jobs make a big difference too.
It does.
A lot of people traveling, they figure, well, I catch a couple hours on the plane, say, well, I'm going out. That type of sleep is good for some people, but
Not for others.
other people, they have to have 8 hours of
wish.
What's this napping? This is
Right.
napping. It's napping. And some people can really perform well. Athletes do it often with
Right.
cat naps,
Right.
because they
And
have to sleep when they
have to
can.
sleep. Right. And so, and that's always the best time for me is before takeoff. I'm like asleep.
Uh-huh.
But they were talking about something, I don't know, the news, there's always some study, that you do need the 8 hours a night because
Yeah, right.
that like you just should have it,
Yeah,
or it
right.
affects your REM sleep and all of that. So for you to be rested and awake and
Well, and then it's the type of sleep. Some
that's
people
true.
toss and turn, and
That's true.
I say the environment that you're in. Your body rest. You get a different rest from sleeping on a chair and then sleeping in bed.
Right.
See, because then the first thing you do when you're sleeping in a chair is something you nod your muscles,
Right.
your head, you're in relaxation, or you fall out the bed or
Right.
anything. You know what I mean? And you get that type of sleep. Some people can survive with that, but
Yeah.
then others they got to stretch out.
Go straight. And I do that because I'm up late. I mean, I can fall asleep whether it's on the couch or if it's in my big chair, and so I feel good no matter what.
But
No matter where
doesn't
no matter where I sleep, I feel good.
yeah, but doesn't that affect your recovery too? Rest.
Well, you have to. You really do. So if you're resting and if you're doing your fruits and vegetables and like juicing and smoothies and
Juicing.
and
Now,
all of
what
that.
about juicing? I hear people say they like juicing,
Oh, it's good for you.
it takes too much time. Because juicing is something I've known people in my family that juice, and they always complaining about how long it takes to juice.
Well, now they have these new ones, and my cousin just bought me one. So now there are these new ones. It doesn't take hardly any time to juice. Now, like in the old days, I
Yeah.
hated using my juicer
Yeah,
back
well,
in the
well,
90s. It was horrible.
Yeah, and that's what I hear. People they like the juicing, but
Because you get all your nutrients.
you get all your nutrients. But what happens is they come in from work or come in from a meeting or something like that, and they don't feel like, because it takes a long period of time to juice. Cut the fruit
Right.
and juice.
Yeah, but now, I
Well,
mean, it's easier now.
now, what about now juicing? These you have different products that you have instead of juicing. Tell us about that. That said that you get the same vitamins, but all you have to do is pour it out the jar. It's already done.
Yeah.
It's not processed, but it's prepared.
It's prepared.
Yeah, and you go to the health food store and they have it in bottles where
Right.
you don't have to juice.
You don't have to do it anymore.
Right.
But I think it's better if you do it fresh. And so a lot of the vegetables that you may get in a juicer, you're not going to get like every day. Like something like spinach, you can get a lot of your calcium, if I'm not mistaken, in spinach. So
You get more recovery
think-
of calcium
I think
if
so.
you juice it
If you
rather
juice
than
it.
if you eat it.
right, and so I think I have that right. Someone can double check me if they need to. But so some of those fruits and vegetables, you don't have to eat. I mean, because you can't. How many times can you really eat a day when you're on the go? So if that's your breakfast or your lunch or your dinner,
Well, what do
then
you
that's
think
helpful.
about regularity in eating like that? Just like you say, well, I eat breakfast at 9, I eat 12, I eat lunch, and then dinner I'm at 5.
Right.
Does that affect your the problem that you have?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Tell us about that.
Because, as soon as you wake up, you're nice and fresh. So that's the best time to exercise. That's the best time to start doing your juicing. And so I think probably 8 or 9 is a good time to eat. If you're a later person like me, then maybe 10 or 11. But like midday might be for some people anywhere from 12 to 2. But for most of the things I've heard is you really need to stop eating after 7 p.m.
Okay.
6 or 7 p.m. You need to be finished.
And all of that, what you have to realize, all that is average. And see,
Right.
yeah,
Right.
see,
Right.
some people don't realize it's not in concrete.
Right.
You know what I
Right.
mean? Is that is average time, and
Right.
what happened is that it has a fluctuation. Just like you say in the morning 9, well, it could be 7 to 9, or lunch
Right.
could be 12 to 2, and
Mhm.
dinner could be 4 to 6. You
Right.
know, it's not that rigid.
Right. And I sleep late. So breakfast for me is like about 11.
Hmm.
And, who knows what time lunch is, and who
Oh,
knows what time dinner is
oh,
going to
in
be.
recovery, what would you say would be the sleep time generally? I know you can't.
Right.
Would you say 8 hours,
I
6 to
would
8 hours?
I think
It
six
vary.
to six to eight.
Mm.
So I think if you're you're doing 6 to 8,
Uh,
you have your breakfast or your lunch, your
uh,
dinner, whether it's a
oh,
smoothie or
hey,
some juicing, or just
hey,
you can have like really small meals like
okay.
6 times a day.
Okay, what we're gonna have to do, we have to bring you
We have
back
to talk
again.
about it
I
again.
know Kamaria, she does a lot of things around here. She uses a camera and everything. But what I want to do, I want to wrap it up. Kamara's done excellent a job there as one of the helpers at
Thank
the
you.
Brown Show. And I like to commend the president for having that African American conference. That's the first time they had that. And
Absolutely.
also the Sweet magazine. Hey, look, when you go to the store, check that out. Got the county exec on there. All right, see you next time.